Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Justin Cappuccino sa Session Scripts, and in this episode, pag-uusapan natin yung matagal ko nang pinangako na influencer marketing and the history, its present, and its future. So for this conversation, it will be a two-part na video kasi pag-uusapan natin is medyo mahaba-haba at malawak yung scope. So we will start first with this episode kung saan pag-uusapan natin the history of influencer marketing. So the origins of influencer marketing actually started way before the 2000s. In fact, it was said that the early influencers were the people in Hollywood, the actors, actresses who were famous, who used their fame in order to push mga products to our homes and our families. It happened that because of Hollywood power at that time, naging laman sila ng mga magazines, naging endorsers sila ng mga product, and it is this pagiging brand ambassador ng mga celebrities, ng mga actors and Hollywood personalities na ang unang nag-udyok ng influencer marketing in its very early na stages. These celebrity endorsements started with probably one of the most early identifiable na mga celebrities is Brooke Shields when she was endorsing Calvin Klein jeans. If you remember yung kanyang 1984 or 85 na commercial, for those who can remember, she was trying to put on jeans in very athletic na mga positions during her video while explaining the science of yung human genetics. That was really a very rough na beginning of the influencer na tawag ito and celebrity na marketing at that time. And then later on, we also have seen Anna Nicole Smith for Guess. We also saw what's his name? Mark Wahlberg for the Calvin Klein underwear. So the start of the influencer na marketing, the rough start, started in the 80s, and then it permeated into I think the 90s with the rise of the supermodels, where we see the likes of the supermodel Trinity become mainstays in shows ng bawat major designer label at that time. So we remember George Michael and his Freedom 90s na kanta where karamihan ng mga supermodels like Linda Evangelista, Naomi Campbell, Christy Turlington, even Nadja Auerman were featured in that music video, and we have seen Cindy Crawford become a host for MTV and such. So ito yung unang rough na early stages of influencer marketing where not just supermodels, celebrities, but also sports personalities became brand ambassadors for brands that are as wide as luxury brands like Versace, Chanel, and the like, down to sportswear brands like Nike, Adidas, and such. So it was actually at the beginning of the 2000s, at the early to mid 2000s, where na-develop yung mas buong konsepto, mas buong idea, realization of the digital influencers, because it was during the start of the blogging era, yung mga sartorialist, sina Brian Boy, sina Baghag, up to yung mga beauty influencers, early beauty influencers and content creators, bloggers like Chiara Ferragni. Sila yung unang nag-introduce sa atin ng modern day na influencer, na konsepto ng influencers. So they are called the legacy influencers or the OG na influencers. They became the key opinion leaders at that time who were invited at the front shows of mga fashion weeks ng mga designers, because they command a strong presence dun sa mga followers nila, dun sa mga nanonood, nagbabasa ng kanilang mga content on their vlogs or on their blogs at that time. So the usual na mga magazine editors who populated the front row seats have now been kumbaga parang nasawsaw, hindi naman nasawsawan, parang nadagdagan yung mga taong nagiging katabi nila doon sa mga front row seats with the introduction of the legacy influencers doon sa mga front rows. Now, in around 2009, where the launch of Instagram started a more visual way of storytelling, a visual way of creating curated content, this would later become one of those social media platforms that would eventually change the landscape of influencer marketing. Because during the time of the early influencers, the original influencers, the platform that is used is writing, curated content on blogging, writing features, writing daily na mga OOTDs with really interesting na mga topics to boot. And these blog posts became, a go-to feature articles na kinokonsume ng mga tao. Before the launch of Instagram, the platforms that the original influencer used is a research heavy na platforms where you need to create very well thought out, very planned na mga curated content on ano yung blog post na kinakailangan mong ilabas on a particular week. Back then, hindi araw-araw yung mga OG natin na mga influencers na maglabas ng content. It so happened that around the 2010s and onwards na nagkaroon ng shift doon sa influencer marketing because from blog posts that are slow content na hindi inaraw-araw or inoras-oras na inilalabas, nagkaroon ngayon ng shift towards the more visual na platforms like TikTok and Instagram. So what happened here is that there was a sudden shift on the pace of consuming content. Instead of consuming content weekly, naging daily until naging hourly. So yun ngayon yung isa sa mga malaking pagbabago when influencer marketing suddenly became more mainstream because around the years 2014 to 2016, brands became more invested. And when I say invested, they started allocating budgets when it comes to influencer marketing. Ngayon, they partner with influencers on social media to create content that is far-reaching than the traditional na mga blog posts. So, what happened in this space na nagkaroon ng ganoong changes? It is, of course, with the onset of course, social media where we became more addicted to bite-size information or bite-size content na mas entertaining. Social media essentially made everything more fast-paced. The trends became more easily consumable because once that it is posted on the socials of the influencers or the brand themselves, yung need for gratification becomes more instant. And this is where, mas naging accessible sa mga tao yung mga fast fashion brands because what they see immediately in their social media na mga accounts or mga pina-follow nila on social media na mga influencers, within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's already at the stores ng Zara. So this is essentially what made things more complicated by speeding up the process. Instead of the traditional na blog post na maybe once a week or even sometimes 2 or 3 times lang a month na lumalabas, naging hourly, naging daily yung consuming natin ng content. And because of this, faster na cycle, nagkaroon ng pagbabago din yung mga taong sinusundan natin on social media. So what happened to us because of the speeding up of the cycle through social media, those original na mga influencers who were not able to pivot or were not able to immediately react to the changing times, napag-iwanan sila. And this is where celebrity influencers and influencers who became superstars on social media, whether it's in TikTok or Instagram, sila ngayon yung pumalit sa front row ng mga OG na mga influencers natin. There are some OG influencers, like for example, Brian Boy, who was able to pivot immediately to social media. Samantalang yung iba, hindi nakapag-strategize at nakagawa ng action plan ng mabilisan. And therefore, sila yung napag-iwanan ng trend. Sila yung naipag-iwanan ng social media, so to speak. But what is the appeal of social media? Bakit nagkaroon ng malaking shift ang mga brands, ang mga influencers into social media platforms like Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram? So, because social media can immediately reach audiences and it can immediately reach large number of audiences, ito ngayon yung naging choice of platform ng mga brands and of course ng mga influencers. Nowadays, if you look at influencers, they will always have a presence on TikTok and Instagram because one, Instagram is a very visual na platform and therefore anything that is visual, that is brand related, it's easily promoted on TikTok and Instagram. So in that in that scenario, because Instagram and social media also has developed, better analytics, better measurement of effectivity for influencers, mas naging platform of choice siya ngayon as compared to the more slow-paced and longer-paced na blogging. And this is where people started to consume more on social media rather than reading, rather than spending time reading on a typepad na blog post, for example. What you can consume within within 5 minutes or 10 minutes na reading can immediately be consumed with a 60-second reel or 60-second na short on YouTube. So ngayon, yun yung naging effect, yung immediacy nun ang naging appeal ng social media sa mga tao. And because the results are fast, because measuring yung audience reach, measuring yung impressions mo on social media is much more easily available. Yun ngayon yung naging appeal ng social media sa mga brands because it is easily measurable, it is trackable, and yung reach and impressions, immediate siya. So, madali siyang tignan kung effective siya o hindi. Because you can immediately count kung ilan ang nag-like, ilan ang nag-comment, ilan ang nag-share, ilan yung nag-engage doon sa piece of content. And this is why, social media during the 2010s, especially from the middle of the 2010s until 2020, ito yung pinaka malaking growth ng influencer marketing because suddenly it ballooned. Suddenly it became massive. Now, around 2019 and 2020, ito ngayon yung panahon ng pandemic. And what the pandemic brought out is, of course, lockdowns and people are more shut down in their homes. And ang naging outlet ng tao, ang naging outlet nating lahat during those times is to reach the world through our phones, our laptops, our digital devices. And this is where mas lalong naging massive yung effect ng social media on fashion influencing because during the 2010s, the lockdown accelerated social media consumption. Naging uso ang live streaming, naging uso ang TikTok, naging uso yung short versus long form na mga video formats. So it became vlog episodes versus shorts and reels. And because of this, we became more glued into our devices. It is entertainment that is easily available to us. And because it's easily available to us, there is also a after effect that it became addictive. And during the lockdowns, lahat tayo nabuhay digitally. And this is why, instead of having negative effects ang lockdown on influencer marketing, mas lalo tuloy naging effective or mas lalong naging malaking bagay ang influencer marketing because of the massive growth of social media. Because of the massive growth of the social media consumption during the pandemic and during the lockdowns, nagkaroon din ng, as a consequence, a massive growth on the creator economy. So, dumami ngayon yung mga gustong maging content creator, yung gustong maging influencer. And influencer who were able to, to gain massive following, who were able to pivot into social media and be effective on social media, were now the regular front row na mga invitees sa mga fashion weeks. So, sila ngayon yung pumalit doon sa mga OG natin na mga influencers, the bloggers. So ngayon, it's the vloggers, the beauty influencers, the fashion influencers who get a regular invites sa mga fashion shows. And this is, a reflection of essentially what is happening doon sa society, doon sa tawag ito, doon sa consumer base. So we have to understand that everything that happens in influencer marketing or in marketing and advertising na industry, it is brought about by societal changes. It is usually being brought about with what is happening in society at a certain point in time, and how that, how socio-economic and socio-political changes affect yung the way we consume content, the way we consume products and services. So after the pandemic, when we started opening up again and traveling and starting going out again, there was what they call a post-pandemic massive growth on luxury brands. And when luxury sector started to keep on growing year on year, it shows not only a rise on consumer spending but also a rise on luxury good prices. So yung growth, yung huge growth ng luxury business sector, especially in fashion, in watches, in wines, and spirits and other luxury products, it is brought about twofold by increase in luxury good spending by consumers and yung nagtaas sila ng presyo. There was even a study that showed some luxury good na mga leather goods, bags, to have had a growth between 60-70% to 90% versus their prices in around 2017 or 2016. So ang laki ng nilaktaw ng mga presyo ng mga luxury goods items. So how did that affect yung yung industriya ng luxury influencers and the luxury influencer marketing? So it became very commonplace for content creators, for fashion influencers to film themselves unboxing yung kanilang mga yung kanilang mga special na mga items that they bought, or naging uso yung mga shopping hauls and unboxing mga videos. This allowed them to showcase an aspirational lifestyle that a lot of audiences would want to have. So, ito ngayon yung naging shift doon sa mindset ng mga tao, that because they see luxury on a regular basis, suddenly it became, part of our conversation, of our psyche, common mindset that we want these products as well. So yun ngayon yung naging pagbabago. So there is an increase in wanting to possess yung mga items na to. So brands responded to this increase in increase in demand by producing more luxury items. And ito ngayon yung nag-fuel doon sa luxury growth between the years ng 2021, 22, and 23. However, things had a huge stop during the year ng following year ng 2024. It was during this year that suddenly there was a slowdown, a downturn in luxury growth because of massive, no spend na mentality ng younger na market. Now, the Gen Zs essentially, have a very tricky relationship with luxury kasi it is revealed in studies that Gen Z prefer authenticity, prefer sustainability, prefer ethical practices in the way that they spend for products and services. So this kind of mentality kind of was shared not only between Gen Zs but also with millennials, who at this point in time are some of the generations na start to have a pushback against luxury because one, Gen Zs and millennials or Gen Y, sila yung mga generation na hindi ganun kaganda yung career prospects as compared to the previous generations, to the previous Gen X or the boomer generations. Dumalabas that if we are to compare yung lifestyle, yung salaries ng mga millennials and Gen Zers as compared to the boomers and the Gen Xers, mas di hamak na mas mahal ang mga bilihin ngayon, and yung accessibility to, owning your own piece of land, makapagpatayo ka ng bahay, sustain ka ng pamilya is vastly more expensive now as compared to the previous generation, even if adjusted for inflation yung mga numbers, yung mga presyo noon versus yung mga presyo ngayon. So because of that, the younger generation has a different mindset now when it comes to luxury goods spending or luxury goods purchase.